How's it going, everyone? I obviously did not have another video for today, so we're doing another off the cuff. I didn't think, honestly, I enjoyed making the last one, but it's a new thing on the channel, so I didn't expect it to do the greatest, but I did enjoy it, and I figured I'd do it again. We're in the middle of a heat wave, so I finished recording the video that is missing right now, and I took a shower, took a nap, woke up, and I'm sweating again, so I'll probably have to shower before bed. But I figured another off the cuff. What do I want to talk about this time? Let's do, y'all ever heard of a game called BlazBlue? It is by far one of the most confusing things I have ever played in my entire life. And I've played games for a long time. I've played Final Fantasy X. So that gives you an idea of like confusion. Again, I'm sorry for the glimmer off of my head. So let's talk about that for this off the cuff. For all of you that don't know, off the cuff is where I just take a topic, whether it be something going on in pop culture, news, games, shows, anything, and I just want to talk about it. It doesn't matter if it's old or new, I just want to talk about it. So we're going to talk about BlazBlue today and kind of just like go through like a synopsis and kind of like, I guess, vocally share the confusion and try and see if anyone else can make sense of my brain. So yeah, let's just talk about BlazBlue and kind of like see what we can get out of that. BlazBlue, let's talk about that. For all of y'all that don't know what BlazBlue is, let's sit you down and give you a heads up on this very not well-known fighter series, which is kind of sad because I really do enjoy it. So BlazBlue was made by Arc System Works and it came out in 2008. It is an arcade fighter. So you go over to the local arcade, you're going to find this just with the joystick and the buttons. That's the kind of fighter this is. It was ported over to the consoles in 2010. I started college in 2012. That is where I first heard about it. Now, I first started playing BlazBlue after I learned about it from Death Battle. If y'all haven't seen Death Battle, I do enjoy it. Go watch Death Battle. They pit two characters against each other, have them fight to the death. Great time. So they introduced a character called Tau Kaka, which is like a cat human with this hood, and I thought she looked badass, and I was like, I want to see what this is all about. So I looked into it, and I thought, I can get into this. I bought the game. I got the game not knowing the headache that would soon spiral into my life. First off, I could never get the disc to read except a few times, and then I couldn't play it. So I said, screw it, I'll just buy it online. So I own the disc. It's right back here, up in my collection up here. But it can't play for some reasons, but I have it on my Xbox. But I'm like, I at least have it. So I have a physical copy, whatever. Why do I bring BlazBlue up for this discussion? Well, I bought the game, and here's the thing you need to understand. BlazBlue makes no goddamn sense to me half the time. It took me 3 to 4 playthroughs to understand the basic story. I'm in the third game of this series. I'm playing it right now. Like, it is like on my TV in the living room. I kid you not. I don't know what I'm doing most of the time. I don't know what I'm doing in this game, period. Let me try and sum it up for you so you can understand. Like, time travel is a thing that gets very complicated in stories. This is one of those times. Here's the thing. This brings up time travel, other dimensions, alternate realities, alternate timelines. It brings up things that are in a dimension that's in between dimensions. You have magic and machinery that are brought into this, time loops. It gets so out there. This is the first game, by the way. I'll try my best. Like, spoilers for anyone who hasn't. I'm just going to be jumping around the confusing stuff. So let's look at that quick. Okay. So, the main character is Ragnar the Blood Edge, okay? He's just going around taking out these cauldrons that are holding, like, human machines called Murakumo units. Now, he's doing this, I honestly don't remember why, but he's doing this pretty much because the NOL, the world government pretty much, are a bunch of dicks. So he's doing it just to screw them over. While he's doing this, he goes through and he's going after the 13th one, and this is where it lives. New is one of the Murakumo units, and he fights her in order to destroy her. And here's the thing. Every single time he fights her, he dies. And when he dies, they get thrown into the cauldron. His arm has something called... it's called the Azure Grimoire, and it holds the Black Beast. Now, here's the thing. 100 years ago, the Black Beast was a problem. Here's where things get fun. They fall into this. His brother goes in with trying to quote-unquote save him. That's another story. They go back in time, the Black Beast is reactivated and attacks all of humanity, and he ends up back in time with amnesia, missing an arm, and his brother ends up back in time. He becomes Blood Edge, one of the characters from the past. His brother becomes Hakumen, wearing like the Susanoo unit, And that is 100 years ago. They fight the beast, defeat it. Ragnar's dead. Hakumen's still alive. And then 100 years later, pretty much Ragnar's born again, and all of this continues. And the cycle keeps going on forever. I think it was like, what was it now? It was like 700 something times, I think they said, was how many times it, like 758, I think, is how many times this loop went. And there are people who are called observers. Again, this is all confusing. Don't worry. I'm right there with you. This is how they give it to you in the story. Like, I'm not even like sitting here like summarizing a lot of it. I am, but this is how they originally give it to you. There are characters known as observers. They watch all of this go down and they know all of it. One of them is a vampire that keeps on living it. And I put it in a calculator. Over 75,000 years she has been aware and watching all of this go down. And she is pretty much bored with all of it. And here's the thing, it gets funner. There is a AI unit out there made up of 3 AIs called the Takamagahara unit that pretty much decide when to do, what's it called now? It's called interventions. What that is, they decide when to jump in, use their powers to rewrite or change things going on in time at that moment to whatever they want to a certain extent, and they can do whatever they feel like. And this is an AI that's set up, I think originally made by humans, and they've just been, they don't care about the loop, so they let the loop keep going. The only time it changes is when another character is introduced, which is like the eyes of the master unit, it's called. The master unit is pretty much like a god that lives in this boundary-like dimension, and it can decide anything at any time. It wants to change time, it can do it. It wants to put someone in, it can do whatever it wants. It doesn't care. It can do whatever it feels like. And it's... This character Noelle is introduced into the 758th time loop. And you sit there, and it's kind of just like, okay, what's different? Well, she's not supposed to exist. Her existence throws everything out of whack, and she goes in and actually saves Ragnar from falling in at one point. And this breaks the loop, and everyone's like, what the hell? Like, the loop is broken. What the hell? And no one knows, because everyone keeps reliving the loop. So it's like, it sounds easy enough to comprehend because of how many times you've played it, but it's like so many things happen that lead into that. Like, I just gave you the info you need, but that doesn't even cover Continuum Shift. I am on Chrono Phantasm right now, and then there's Central Fiction, which I haven't touched, and I'm probably never going to touch because it's not ported to consoles for, like, Xbox. It blows my mind. Like, I'm sitting here trying to figure out more of it, like, to explain where it's so confusing. And I guess I can talk about the characters and stuff, because, I mean, like, that's fun to talk about. Like, it is a really good game. Like, I'm giving it crap, but it is a really good game. I guess what I can say for, like, the characters is it's very tropey. Like, there's so many characters that fall into a trope throughout this entire series. Like, in the first game, like, you have the ninja, you have the lady with the big gazongas, you have the lolly characters, you have the vampire, like, all of this, and they're all unique, by the way. Like, that's something I really like. All of them have their own fighting style and unique abilities and actions. No one, aside from one character, there really isn't a single clone in the entire series. And that clone is pretty much just a reborn model of an original character, but then that original character is brought back to life, so that clone is kind of its own character now. And they bring it up like you don't even have a personality, and it's kind of like, I like bugs now. That's the thing we're going with. So you have that. You have, like, characters, like, the big tanky characters you have, the quick characters, the cat characters. It's a Japanese game. There's going to be characters based on cats. Everything is really good. Like, that's the thing, like, aside from the story, which is so complex and convoluted, it's actually not that bad. Like, the characters are good, the interactions are great, the game is extremely meta. There's gag reels left and right. It is by far the nuttiest experience I've had with a story in a long time. Like, it's like Deadpool wrote the script. Like, if all the gag endings were supposed to be the main story, it's pretty much like Deadpool wrote everything. That is how off the rails it gets. You've got the lolly character that has 3 souls in them, calling everyone pedos. Just outright like, you're a pedophile, you're a pedo. And all of that. You've got people putting in memes like, my body is ready, when that was popular. That's in the game. My body is ready. That's a thing. You have so many things. You have, like, people making fun of tropes. You have where they make fun of the game itself. Like, we have all these diehard loyal fans of BlazBlue. What are we supposed to say of this? Like, it is so crazy how out of this world the experience gets playing this game. And I understand BlazBlue isn't that popular because the same company that made it also made Guilty Gear, and everyone plays Guilty Gear. I have not, but I do want to play it. It seems really good. I don't know, man. Like, I feel like BlazBlue, if it would have had a better distribution for the first game, it would have done a lot better. I mean, like, you have this situation where, like, this game, it's genuinely funny, and I do enjoy it. The voice acting is extremely good. Like I said, the story is just 50,000 different... Like, you could literally pull out a pinboard. You could pull out a dartboard, take a dart and throw it, and whatever it landed on, it would make sense for the story. That's how out of it gets sometimes. Like, again, you've got like a 3-person AI that's watching over the battle going on that should never have occurred, but they planned for, apparently. And when the climax of the battle proceeds and happens, a character takes 1 millisecond from a second where they're not observing all of time and space or themselves, and they're able to go in and hijack the AI unit to work for them. This character also being a character that does not exist, because the character that didn't exist brought in by the master unit is also a character that if she looks or sees anything, she's able to cognitively understand its reality, and since she's the eyes of the master unit, that means it exists. So when she sees a character who's bound away and not supposed to exist in front of her, he now comes into existence, but he's still a soul without a body, sharing it inside of a body that he made like a while ago to inhabit. And that's an interaction between just 2 characters. It's I don't even know what else to say about it. Like, you have so many things you have to cover, and they're trying to do it all in one game. And this is just timey-wimey stuff that's just out of my cognitive abilities. I think that's all I'm going to say about BlazBlue. This is my off-the-cuff discussion of just how crazy the story gets. So I'm going to leave it there. I guess the last thing I'll say is my favorite character is Bang Shishigami the Ninja. That's about it. So that's going to do it. I'm roasting. I'm going to finish this quick. So thank you guys for watching. I want to thank everyone for making this possible, and thank the patrons for making this possible. I don't know when the next one will be, because, I don't know, maybe editing will take a long time on this video I'm working on. I don't know. So maybe you'll see me again soon, maybe not. That's off the cuff for you. Later.